Hello, everybody. This is Psychic Media. I'm going to be doing a little bit different slideshow with my voice over it. And the reason I wanted to do is, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I have spiritual abilities, and a lot of psychics, have been able to see. A lot of people, the mass in general, have awakened and have been able to see that the 2017 was a horrific year for natural disasters. These included everything from hurricanes that were deadly to wildfires in California to earthquakes in different parts of the world. And basically, we're going to take a look at some facts, from the hurricane, and also some things, dealing with numerology and numbers and specifics. So in the second slide, we're going to see the Atlantic hurricane season. And basically, I broke it down here for things that y'all need to really focus on. Anyone who is interested, perhaps, in this, again, is my own opinion, my own thoughts. But the hurricane season, Atlantic hurricane season, I should say, runs from June 1st to 2017 through November 30th, 2017. Now, Hurricane Harvey hit landfall on August 26, 2017. Now, if you break that number down, 8 plus 2 plus 6 plus 1 plus 7, it equals 24. And then if you break 24 down, 2 plus 4 equals 6. So we get a single digit from that specific date when it made landfall. Now, mind you, it hit Texas, and then it went and hit other parts of Texas, and it extended, towards the east part. But the total solar eclipse actually happened the Monday on August 21st. It was that Monday. It was a total solar eclipse, and I had burned 2 candles, a white candle and 2 white candles, and one of my candles turned black with soot, with the smoke in the candle, and the other one didn't. And when I saw that, I had a feeling that something was coming up around the world, something really, really bad. Well, of course, Hurricane Harvey was already on the Gulf. So 6 days later, notice a pattern. We see the number 6 in the date that it hit, which is August 26. When you break it down to a single digit, it is the number 6. And then if you look at this, you'll see here that 6 days later, Hurricane Harvey hit Texas and made landfall. So the number 6 is significant in the Bible because it's the number of man and the number of imperfection in man's work. Now notice what it says here. It says man's work. It is human. It's a human number. See, this is not something that is natural or made by nature, Mother Nature. So it implies man's existence. And thus number 6 in the Bible is related to man and his imperfections and shortcomings. Now, if we take a look at the other slides, we'll be able to see the destruction of Hurricane Harvey. Not only did it cause a lot of wind damage and power outages, it also caused mass flooding. These are some images here taken. As you can see, the poles that were torn down. It also caused a food supply shortage in a lot of areas that were ravaged, and also gasoline was scarce because everybody was filling up, and certain gas stations didn't have the facility to or the means to get new because the roads were all flooded and blocked. So if you really look at it, a lot of this is what we call seeding of hurricanes. And this next slide is how to halt a hurricane. I found this on here. I found this pretty interesting, and it basically shows you a diagram of how if they wanted to, certain people, like in the government, for example, they could, have prevented this hurricane from hitting landfall, or at least weakening it before it actually made landfall. But this was not the case for Hurricane Harvey, and a lot of people were not prepared for this hurricane. In my opinion, if you had to ask me, the next slide you'll see here where it hit. I'm from Victoria, Texas, and if you look at the different surrounding counties where it hit, it was a monster. originally a category 5. I don't know why a lot of media is, basically saying it's a category 4 or category 3. It was downgraded to a category 3 after it made landfall after a couple of hours and losing momentum. But the winds that we experienced were between 130 and 150 miles per hour. Very catastrophic, very destructive. Now, if you look at this, not only did that hurricane happen, we found there was Katia again in the Gulf, and we had Irma hit Puerto Rico, and Jose, not Irma, hit Florida, actually, but it went through that area, in the Gulf Coast and the Caribbean island, all that area, and then we had Jose, and this is Puerto Rico, that was hit the worst. Now, you would ask me, a lot of conspiracy theorists would probably say, well, how do you know that, the government had something to do with this? And if you really think about it, and I'll get into that in the next couple of slides, but if you look at the destruction here, Puerto Rico is a country, it's a state, it's part of the United States, and it is predominantly Hispanic or Latino culture. There's other nationalities, of course, there, but for the primary makeup of the country is Latino or Hispanic. I can understand a hurricane hitting one time, but hitting 2 times in a matter of, a couple of weeks. I mean, it's just like, that is not normal if you think about it. And then we go into the statistics here, and this is what I found on Wikipedia. Basically, not only did we have the hurricanes, but we also had the earthquakes that hit. We had one hit in Iran on November 12th, and it was a 7.3 in magnitude. And then we had Mexico hit 2 times, September 8th and September 9th. Around this time, that was when Hurricane Irma was hitting as well, if I'm not mistaken, in between that time frame. So you saw different natural disasters hit predominantly South America, in countries where there is like terrorists, ISIS, and then interestingly, Italy was also hit with a 5.7 magnitude, and here are the death tolls. And this is something that I spoke about in my predictions for 2017, and they're about mass exodus of souls. And I also had mentioned that in my prediction that we were going to see a lot of huge natural disasters that were catastrophic in nature, and everything that I had, foresaw actually happened, and I was actually impacted by Hurricane Harvey. Now, if we go further down, we can see by magnitude which was the strongest, and that would have been Mexico, with 98 people that died in that earthquake that happened. And so a lot of these disasters are not natural. These are not natural. They blame the tectonic plates or people who are doing drilling underneath the ground. But what a lot of people don't know is the government actually is doing a lot of this underground. They have, manipulated under the Earth's core, have different kind of, experiments they have going underneath the ground, basically weapons that are forming. And when this happens, it disrupts, the Earth, and it causes these earthquakes. And these hurricanes that we saw, and the tornadoes. Then we go into the California wildfires. This happened all through the month of November and December, I believe, of 2017. And look at the fires here. And I have a friend that actually lives in California, and I spoke to her and I told her, this was not normal. I mean, this is all man-made. I mean, nature doesn't form. If this was the case, why doesn't it form? Why don't these fires happen in different parts of the U.S.? Why California? Again, with California, we see it's a predominantly LBGT, area, a state. It's very open. And it's also predominantly, there's a higher population of Latinos, Hispanics, minorities, that, we would classify as minorities, but the government would. But again, if you look at all of this, none of this is natural. So my question to you was, if these natural disasters are geoengineered, why did they hit these states. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give you some information here. And again, you may not agree with me, and that is totally fine. Again, these are just my opinions. They're not conspiracy theories, They're my opinions and spiritual insight of what I see. So, again, the main topic here with this presidency, this administration, is against immigration, highly against immigration. Okay, so we see Texas is predominantly known for illegal immigration. Tons of immigrants. Leader in the government has been against illegal immigration and wants a wall built. Areas hit are known for large areas of Hispanic community and other immigrants. Puerto Rico was hit with the 2 deadly hurricanes, predominant Latin Hispanic state, but it's part of the United States, hit twice by 2 deadly hurricanes. Florida, also known for strong Hispanic, Latino community, American influence, and strong LBGT. So, then you had California. It's a strong number of Hispanics, Latin American influence, strong LBGT. Do you see the pattern here? If you really look at it, there is a pattern. The areas that were hit, these are areas that are full of a lot of poverty, areas that are filled with minorities, areas that support more a liberal view, are very open, not very conservative, Again, this is just my beliefs. You can call them conspiracy theories if you like. You don't have to agree at all. Again, this is just my view in this. Now, beyond immigration, being a reason, a factor for this natural disasters, what else could have caused these natural disasters from, caused them to happen? And if we really go down further, with this administration that we saw, over the course of 2017, there was a lot of scandals surrounding the government, the key people in the FBI, people, in different parts of that administration we saw them exit willingly. Some were ousted. Again, all of this seems to have created a distraction, but there's something bigger, something else that's going on other than the distraction. So you could say that all of these hurricanes were created by man-made, and basically it was to divert attention, the consciousness as we speak. People, humanity, were very focused on different issues. And when we see natural disasters, we kind of tend to shift the focus away from the administration, the things that were going there, and then the government has to come in, like FEMA and the Red Cross and all these organizations, and they come and support these causes within limitations, because a lot of people have still not gotten help. There's going to be years before people will get back their lives together. Will we see these kind of natural disasters in 2018? And I made this prediction for my 2018 world predictions. You can see them on my website, which I will include the link in the description box below. No, I don't foresee large natural disasters. I'm not saying there's not going to be any. There may be 1 or 2, but no, it's not going to be to the magnitude that we saw in 2017. Again, this was a horrible year. And I know that a lot of people have probably made, conspiracy videos, or people, out in the YouTube world will call this a conspiracy theory, call me a conspiracy theorist, and that's fine. You're entitled to your own opinions. Just please respect, my views, and I'll respect your views. You don't have to believe this. If you find this video offensive, please don't look at it going forward, But again, these are just my views and opinions, and I again, being a person that was impacted by Hurricane Harvey and everything that I saw, I don't feel that this was natural. None of these hurricanes, none of these natural disasters, these earthquakes, these fires, these floodings were natural. It was all, geoengineered to give the appearance that it was a natural disaster by Mother Nature. But again, why now? Because if we look back at other, years in the past, and other presidencies, administrations, you will not see the magnitude of the disasters that we saw this year. So it kind of makes you wonder and think, if you think about what is going on in our administration right now, and how our the person in charge of the government, the head honcho right now in the government, how he has said recently with North Korea, how he has, he can't wait to push the button. His button is bigger than the other person. It makes you think, what could he have been doing already that he feels is very confident to say things like this, So, again, I'm just setting this in your minds out there. I want you to think about what I've mentioned here, the facts that I've presented. And going back to the first slide, if you go back to that first slide, or the second slide, where I broke down the number 666. Again, a lot of people would think this is the mark of the beast if you are religious. Specifically Catholic, if you're religious. But if you're not religious, if you look at it from a spiritual standpoint or from numerology, you'll see that pattern of 666, specifically with Hurricane Harvey. I didn't want to go through the other hurricanes in more depth. I may do another video specifically for each hurricane or the natural disasters that did occur. But again, my heart goes out to everybody that was affected, including the people in Texas. This is not going to be something that anyone recovers from, specifically Puerto Rico being hit devastationally. It's going to be a long process. So please, in 2018, now that we're in 2018, continue, praying for these people, for the world. Spread more love. That is the main message and the key for 2017. Live in a state of gratefulness and love, and do not, fall into the negative patterns. There could be a lot of things going on, but try to stay positive. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you did like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and those links again will be listed in the description box below. And I'll be making some more videos about my opinions. You can call them theories, conspiracies, on different topics like aliens, the Illuminati, and things like that. So in addition to my spiritual development, my weekly horoscopes and product reviews and other good stuff that I have coming up, content that I have coming up for this year. So thank you once again. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing day.